Shalom, Apostle Harkman back at you with the truth, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. I'm going to entitle this video, CNN reporter quotes Revelation 13 chapter, in particular the first verse. Anyway, today's date is January 17, 2020, or 2020 year of prophecy. And it's not even 3 weeks and all kind of prophecies have been, taking place around the world. All kind of, it seems like everything is intensifying in the beginning of this year. Anyway, you see on the screen a picture. This is from CNN News. This is out in the Middle East. You see what appears to be horns, red horns, or the horns of the devil. So the reporter says, she speaks on it, and then she shows a bunch of pictures. Time magazine of the Pope, Clinton, President Clinton, and others, and somehow they made the M in the word time right on top of their heads, making it look like horns. So is that a coincidence, or is Time magazine sending you a message that these are a bunch of devils? Anyway, you look at this image, and it clearly looks like the horns of the devil. If you was imagine what the devil looked like. And this is from, like I said, CNN. This was put up on January 8, 2020, year of prophecy. It says, red devil horns freaks out internet. Then you have a bunch of comments. Anyway, I'll leave the link in the description box. And I'm going to actually go read Revelation. The first, 5 verses or so. Because in general, people don't know. The majority of the world has no understanding of the book of Revelation, let alone the rest of the scriptures in the Bible. Anyway, it says, Revelation 13 verse 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. And that's what the news reporter quoted. It says, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Now, when you look up the word blasphemy, is to say something ill about somebody, or cursing somebody's name. In this case, the Most High's name. And if they're cursing the Most High's name, they're cursing the Son's name. If they're cursing the Son's name, they're cursing the children of the Most High's name, which are the Israelites. So this beast that rises out of the sea is the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire. And the beast's second verse, Revelation 13 verse 2, and the beast. And I'm reading this because you got a lot of these camps out there that don't fully understand these breakdowns, and a lot of them kind of make it up as they go along. Some of them got it right. And the beast, which I saw, was like unto a leopard. It represents the beginning of Esau's rulership, going back to the Greek Empire, Alexander the Greek. It was said that he had cut off the head of a leopard and made it and gutted it out, took the brains and the guts out of the head of it and wore it as a hat. And there's a bust of it at I believe that's the Museum of Natural History in the Middle Eastern section. There's an actual bust of him wearing a leopard hat that he made from the head of a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and the bear represents the Russians, which is the end of you. The last part of you is your feet, you know, or either your support, something that holds you up. So it's the Russians that's going to be the end of you, because they're going to shoot missiles on you along with the other European, your European allies of America. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, that represents Great Britain, because Jake ruled Great Britain or England, and the symbol was a lion with a crown on his head. So what happened was Esau took us down, so he assumed the role of that lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Now the word dragon is interchangeable with the word beast. It's mentioned in Revelation 12, Revelation 20, and the dragon represents the Roman Empire, but it also represents the current beast, or the revised Roman Empire, which is known as NATO and the EU, which America is a part of that. It says, and I saw one of their heads as it were wounded to death, and that represents Rome, ancient pagan Rome, falling, and it would never come back into power. But Rome is back into power as NATO, EU, the EU, and America represents the woman, the woman that sat upon the scarlet-colored beast. It says, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Now, if you put in parallels between the Roman Empire and America, it's almost like it's talking about one empire falling and coming back again, being revised. Remember it was a Treaty of Rome that had this meeting to set up the EU, the European Union, which is part of the horns of the beast. It says, and they worship the dragon which gave power. Worship the dragon which gave power means that they did what the system asked of them. You know, if you join the military, you're part of the system, and ultimately you're going to get a chip. If they're not chipping U.S. soldiers or people in the military right now. Now, I did a video dealing with the name of the video. I knew he was going to say that, and it's not even 2 minutes. Not a lot of people saw the video, but the video led you to another video of this individual that appears to be an Edomite. He's like a banking expert, and he breaks down the banking system and what ultimately is going to happen with the money system. Now, he doesn't quote scriptures, but he actually speaks about the mark of the beast. Not using the term or the phrase mark of the beast, but he speaks about the microchip. He said ultimately they're going to do away with the money system and credit cards, and they're going to give everybody chips. So Esau knows about the mark of the chip, but they don't necessarily know that it's the mark of the beast. So it's the ones of us that the Most High have opened our eyes, and we got it right. We here at Great Millstone, we have it right. The mark of the beast is definitely the microchip. And when our people are going to wake up, these other Israelite groups going to wake up, when they actually see, however they set it up, whether it's chipping stations in a bank or whether it's going to be in your DMV, because that's a form of ID. Everything is going to go into your chip. So if you take that chip, you're going to have to suffer the consequences of the Most High destroying you, pursuant to Revelation 14 verse 9, Revelation 15 verse 2, and Revelation 16 verse 2, or the first two verses, in Revelation 15 and Revelation 16. Then you have the hour of temptation, which is in Revelation 3 verse 10 on down to 12. The hour of temptation is when you make the decision whether you're going to take that chip or not, and whether you understand that that's the mark of the beast. You see, we're finding out that these people, they know, but they don't know. They have a good idea. But the elite know. They know that the mark of the beast is a chip. Anyway, it goes on to say in the 4th verse, Revelation 13 verse 4, and they worship the dragon. In other words, you are part of the system. You have a governmental job, and you're in the military. You're fully part of the system, and ultimately you will have to get that chip. I can't stress that enough. It says, which gave power unto the beast. The beast is the system, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. And that was said of the Roman Empire, and that's said of now, of this system right now. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things. Now, when you go to Daniel, the 7th chapter, it tells you about the little horn speaking great things. The little horn with eyes. That's who was more stout than his fellow. That's talking about America. And blasphemies. And that's why they're demonizing the men of the Lord. And power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months, and that represents 350 years, which they went past that time. From the time they got over here until about 1970, that was when the time was up. So they started going down. Now it says in Obadiah, which is 1 chapter long, it says, when they set their nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down. When did they set their nest among the stars? It didn't say the moon, it said among the stars. That was during the time period of 69-70. The Apollo missions. I remember as a child watching it on, everybody's eyes were glued to the big box TV. It goes on to say, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. That's why he's calling us a bunch of devils and demons and terrorists and all this other nonsense. They're blaspheming us. And they're blaspheming us because of the fact that we worship the Creator. It's a 7th verse, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints. So they made war with the saints back then, and they're making more. How we was brought over here, they made war with us. To take the slave from West Africa, which are the Israelites, you had to come with your gun, so you declared war. If you don't come with us, we're going to kill you. That's war. That's an act of war. It said, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And they go into the history of how they took down Gad and Reuben and the Latin, so-called Latin tribes, and then went over to West Africa and brought over the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi from West Africa. And that's why we teach that the people of West Africa, and then you have Israelites scattered throughout Africa. They're the Israelites. Back in the One West days, if you were from Ghana, you was a damn Hamite. That show you that the Most High, he gave us more, opened our eyes even more. David said, I become wiser than my teachers, and we have become wiser than our teachers. We know more than we learned from High Priest Ariel and other high priests and King Marshall, but we know a lot more than them now. the Most High had opened our minds up even more. It says, and power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, or in the oikoumene sense of the word, meaning a world system. That's why the whole world is going to be chipped. And as you read down, it actually goes into the chip. It actually mentions America. I mean, in a nutshell, Revelation, the 13th chapter is talking about the Roman Empire looking like it's going to be destroyed, and the Roman Empire coming back as the great beast. And that started with Columbus. And then as you read down, it speaks about the, let me go to it. Oh, that's why it said in the 10th verse, he that leaves into captivity shall go into captivity. So ultimately, you Edomites are going into captivity under us. Now it speaks about another beast in the 11th chapter. And behold, another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon. That's talking about two horns. Is talking about the Republicans and the Democrats, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. When you go back 2,000 years ago to the Roman Empire, you had two parties. You had the patricians and you had the plebeians. The plebeians would be of today. The patricians would be the Republicans. So this is clearly Rome all over again. And then ultimately, at the end of this deal, and we read this millions of times, they're going to cause everybody to take this chip, and you can't buy or sell or be in the system unless you have this chip or this mark in your right hand on your forehead. Then it says in the 18th verse, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for this number of man. And the number 603 score 666, which this been in effect back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. The UPC, the Universal Product Code. You know, when you purchase something, it has a code on it, and they scan it. Now you have these self checkouts where you actually scan the code. Well, on that code, you have on either end, you have two elongated lines which represent 6. There's another 6, then there's a 6 in the middle. So this system is based upon the 666 system. So I mean, it's there. It's right. I mean, Stevie Wonder can see it. Anyway, with that. In closing, that right there, that horn that you see, that's just the sun coming up, and it looks like horns. But guess what? The Most High said He will show you signs in the heavens. So that's in the heaven. That's above the sea. So we're taking that as a sign. We're taking it as a sign. Even though we know it's a picture of the sun rising. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom and let's on to the next one.